So Jurassic World Rebirth is coming closer and closer. It's literally just 2 weeks away now, and already the pre-release reviews look amazing for this movie. So naturally, everyone is going to be very excited. But for those who didn't like Dominion, may I just remind you that the public pre-release opinions on that movie were actually very positive as well. So make of that what you will. For me personally, since I love Dominion, I'm excited for Rebirth. But as time goes on, we are of course going to be getting some more clips and featurettes for the Jurassic World Rebirth movie, and today is no different. Just yesterday we posted a new showcase of all of the new adverts, TV spots and featurettes, and we broke it down. Today I want to talk about one advert for the movie, whilst also simultaneously discussing one of the new featurettes, one of which includes brand new scenes, and the other one includes just new looks at the models of Jurassic World Rebirth. So if you're excited for this movie, be sure you're subscribed to the channel for your daily dose of Jurassic content here on YouTube, and simultaneously why not leave a like on this video if you enjoy it at any given moment. Be sure to check out the merch via the link in the description, but for now, let's get ready to discuss and break down some new details about Jurassic World Rebirth. So what we're first going to be discussing is that brand new Jeep advert. Now I know this one released a few days ago, but I was actually waiting for the extended version which came out just yesterday, and in that extended version we actually get better looks at some of the species for Jurassic World Rebirth, some of which we actually haven't really seen in any TV spots or featurettes. So of course, whilst I wouldn't personally consider them as spoilers, I am going to tell you that there may be some minor spoilers for some of the models for Jurassic World Rebirth. But firstly, let's jump into it. At the very beginning of this Jeep clip, we get to see the better look, or the best look shall we say, of the Velociraptor model. Right now we literally only have one render, which I think is just pretty much copy and pasted over Blue's render from Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, and other than that we haven't really seen the Velociraptor model. We've maybe seen it be attacked by a Mutodon, but again that's very blurry, so right here this Jeep advert is the best look of the Velociraptor model for Jurassic World Rebirth we've gotten so far. Talking of which, we then have the Tyrannosaurus model, and yes, it is pretty much the same one from the river raft sequence, but let me just point this out to you. It looks normal, right? But when you think about it, this is the only time we've actually seen this Tyrannosaurus Rex not in the river raft sequence. So for me personally, it looks a little bit weird, but it's something that we're just used to, seeing the T-Rex in a river raft sequence, right? We then get to see the Spinosaurus waking up, and this was in the original, but in this extended version, we actually see for a split second this dinosaur belly walking into the river, kind of like how a crocodilian would do so. But as you can see scattered around the area, there are some Compsognathus. Not some compies that we're used to seeing, which are all typically just green, but we get to see some red Compsognathus. In the back of the Jeep we actually get the best look of the Compsognathus here, and it is just red, and to be honest it reminds me of the Stegosaurus. This dinosaur was something that was also bred for the original Jurassic Park, so whilst this is technically a Compsognathus, I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow write in saying that the red ones are just all Stegosaurus. But I'm not too sure how that would actually settle down to some of the paleo fans of the franchise. But either way, I think this is probably the closest we are going to get to Stegosaurus in the franchise, away from the Jurassic World Evolution series. The Titanosaurus model also shows up, and we can see the distinct difference between the larger male version and the shorter female version. In Jurassic World Evolution 3, it's confirmed that we are going to be getting male variants and female variants, and they will have sexual dimorphism as we've seen with the Triceratops. So I'm thinking for the Titanosaurus, will they basically look the same, just one will be larger and one will be shorter? But in this clip we can also see how the fins of this dinosaur work. Now initially we thought that only the males would have them, but it seems like the females also have them as well. Quetzalcoatlus flies into the scene, and we can briefly see the pycnofibers on the back of its neck shudder as it soars through the wind. But the next thing is what I really want to talk about. Whilst we can't see it too clearly, in the background we can see the Ankylosaurus model from Jurassic World Rebirth. To me personally, they just look like loads of bumpies running around from Camp Cretaceous and Jurassic World Chaos Theory, but either way this is the only look of the Ankylosaurus so far from Jurassic World Rebirth. And right at the very end we see Dolores once again, but this creature in the movie, behind the scenes, in marketing, and now in this Jeep trailer, it's treated like a baby quite a lot. So I'm starting to think that Dolores, the Aquilops, isn't actually a fully grown Aquilops, which honestly speaking makes a lot more sense. We don't have the quills on the back of the tail for this dinosaur, the head shape isn't quite there, and it looks very similar to the Microceratus, which was the first bred dinosaur for Jurassic Park. So it makes me think that maybe because the Loris is the younger version of this dinosaur, that's why it doesn't have these missing features. But talking of features, we now go to the featurette called Meet the Delgados. This featurette goes into a deep dive about the Delgado family, which is the B-line story plot of Jurassic World Rebirth, and after watching that featurette, honestly I sit here thinking that maybe that storyline might intrigue me a little bit more than to the DNA storyline we have with Zora, Duncan and Dr. Henry Loomis with Martin Krebs as well. But either way, this featurette opens up with new scenes of Isabella sliding out and Ruben Delgado, her father, saving her. Now, from screenings back in May for this specific clip, we actually learn that during this savior moment, Ruben Delgado actually ends up hurting his leg, so I'm not really too sure how that's going to play into the future story, but do keep that in mind. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I just find it funny how the Spinosaurus doesn't grab her whatsoever, misses her even though it was quite easy, but manages to get Bobby Atwater with relative ease. I get it, it's a child actress, but if you're going to have a very similar back-to-back scene there, I just think it's a bit off-putting to showcase it so easily and then showcase it so hard for a different character. We can also see that when this Spinosaurus fails to catch her, it cuts to a bird's eye shot of this scene and it kind of shows, I think, Nina falling off of the boat. Now, we've actually seen an alternative version of the Spinosaurus actually jumping out of the water and trying to get Nina. So what I'm thinking happened here is that the Spinosaurus, as he falls into the water, catches sight of Nina dangling off the side of the boat, which then explains why the Spinosaurus jumps out of the boat soon after. But in the same scene, we also see there are two Spinosaurs circling this boat, kind of like a pack of sharks. The featurette then continues with brand new scenes of the Delgado family once again, and this shot right here is so reminiscent to the original one in Jurassic Park. To me, it looks so similar to when Alan Grant was sat in the tree with Lex and Tim, but this time we have Ruben Delgado and his family there as well. And we actually learn how the family ended up capsizing, and it's all the Mosasaurus's fault. So whilst the Mosasaurus did have its few instances in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, Camp Cretaceous, and Jurassic World Dominion, it still hasn't really done all that much. But in Jurassic World Rebirth, it seems like it's going to be a little bit more of a nuisance. But during this moment, they send out a mayday call, which is received by the Essex, so I assume that they actually get rescued by the crew of the Essex. But this must mean that they end up getting split later on in the movie, because as we know, the river raft sequence has to take place, and they have to crash onto this island to begin with, and it doesn't look like they've already been on the island before the Mosasaurus attacks them. So what I think happens here is that they get rescued, the Mosasaurus DNA is the very first DNA they get, and then they crash back onto the island, which is called St. Hubert, and then they end up getting split up. I don't really know exactly how that would work, but that's actually kept under wraps very well, and I'm not really understanding the timeline all that well. Then there's this really ominous shot after Isabella tells everyone to stop talking. Now, I'm not really too sure what we're supposed to be looking at here, but that's what gets me excited. Scenes like this, where it's clearly trying to showcase something, but we don't know what to look at, stuff like that just gets me really excited because I'm sure that's for a reason. We also get a really touching moment of seeing the family surviving together. They even built a fire to try and survive. And we get the first confirmed swear word of the movie where Ruben Delgado pretty much just says this.
Other people may talk shit about us, but we don't have to do the job for them.
And honestly, if the word shit was to be used in any sentence, I think that one is the most appropriate one. And we also get another shot of the family in this greenery area with a waterfall, and it looks very similar to the one where we see Zora in that one shot of the DNA canisters. So with my theory about them reuniting later on the island, I think this is probably the moment or just before that moment happens. So there we have it. Those are the two things I wanted to break down and discuss in today's video. Man, Jurassic World Rebirth already sounds amazing, and whilst my excitement level initially started out as a 3 out of 10, the trailer bringing it up to a 5 out of 10, right now I'd say I'm probably sat at a 7 out of 10 for Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm going to go into it, I'm probably going to enjoy it, and I'm just going to see how it connects all of the lore. For me personally, the way I enjoy movies is about the lore aspect and how it ties into the wider story. But for Jurassic World Rebirth, it's a little bit difficult to do that, because on one hand, yes, it's part of the same universe, but on the other, you kind of have to try to treat it as its own movie at the same time. Whilst there are some concerns about the lore based off everything we've heard from marketing and trailers, I'm still hopeful that David Koepp knows about the entire lore of the Jurassic franchise and hasn't retconned as much as we suspect. But either way, just 2 more weeks to go. Be sure to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe if you're brand new around here. But most importantly, make sure you're all staying safe out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Hey, did you enjoy the video? Well, why not leave a like and subscribe for more Jurassic content? I appreciate every single one of you for reaching this point into the video and supporting me this far. If you wish to support me even further, then feel free to head on down to the description where you can find links to donate, my Patreon, and you can also press that join button to become a member here on YouTube and gain access to some awesome emojis. A massive thank you to all of the YouTube members for this month, as well as the amazing fans over on Patreon too. Your extra bit of support really goes a long way. But for now, I wish you a great rest of your day.